Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Orgasmica, the podcast where we talk all about sensuality, sexuality, healing, and all forms things because we love talking about these beautiful things. Thank you for tuning in into another episode. Today, I have a very special guest, Melannie Rushbum, and I said her name correctly, and I love this. She is a licensed psychotherapist, a specialist in attachment theory styles. If you don't know what that is, you need to look that up. My husband is also obsessed with it. It's so amazing. And I would say she's an expert on humaning because I know so many people like her that like asks questions, human questions. And you are a person that always is asking questions to yourself, to other people about humanity, about the human experience. And specifically, you and I have been talking so much about intimacy. So that is the theme that we're going to delve into. Intimacy. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I think that's what everybody says, right?
Well, I don't want to. There's some people that are not, and they have to deal with
but
it.
I feel like that's what people. I'm so excited to be here. I don't know. It just feels so unnatural. I have conversations with you all the time as my friend.
Yes.
And so now knowing that other people are hearing, it feels like I'm going to be a little performative. And you've reminded me, I just have to talk to you.
Yeah.
But it's a little different.
There's cameras and lights and things,
Yeah.
and so I understand it's a little different, and that is totally okay.
You're just a very confident human. I think you know this about you. You are more confident than most folks I know. And it comes across almost like, wait, then what am I doing that it doesn't look as easy as Virginia? So yeah, you
Thank you.
It's a beautiful thing.
Thank you. Yeah. It's also like this is you're going to be like the 70th something episode. So, I've been doing this.
But just you in general, you have a beautiful essence. You really do model confidence really well.
Thank you, honey.
Yeah.
Oh my
Anyways.
God. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I just love the conversations that we have, and I love the conversations. And so I wanted to bring that conversation for other people to hear because they're so important, because you talk about intimacy in a way that I don't hear a lot of people talking about intimacy. Because sometimes when we hear the word intimacy on its own, we equate it to a partner, a romantic partner, and mainly sexuality, right? And it's not. It is so much broader of a concept of what intimacy is. And I want to ask you first, what make you dive into the world of intimacy?
I love that you're starting there, because when I was thinking about, wanting to control the conversation, which you can't, it's going to be organic. I was hoping we would go to sort of the origin of why intimacy is so important to me. And I'm going to get emotional.
Yes, please.
I cry. I mean, I think you know me.
In many episodes.
I cry all the time.
Yes.
But this feels like I'm at a spiritual program meeting and doing a share. So it's, I feel just from the family of origin, that sense of disconnect. I have not felt, and I never felt a sense of belonging in the first club that I was, indoctrinated into. And it's no fault of individual people, mother, father, siblings. It's bigger. It's the dominant discourses and the cultural influences, etc. It could be mental illness. It could be addiction. There's so many reasons. There's so many variables that intervene with our ability to be intimate and feel connection. And so I also think because I'm single for a really long time at a particular age, that it's all the more reason why I'm like, okay, I don't have it in the family of origin. I don't have the partner to codependently bond with, which is a good thing. I don't want to be codependently bonded with anyone. But that's what drives me to okay, I have to seek it elsewhere. I can't, like you said, I can't just have sex with my person. And that's how I'm getting intimacy, which that is a form. I have to go elsewhere. So it's like the grocery store clerk that I see on a weekly basis, getting intimacy through connection and the consistency of seeing them. So
I love that.
I appreciate you asking that, because I feel like we learn more, or I don't know, go towards what we don't have. Does that make sense? Meaning I have a longing for more intimacy, and so it makes me more interested in it. And similar to like being a clinician, being a psychotherapist, it's because I wanted to heal myself.
Yes.
I mean, let's be honest.
Yes.
Right?
Most people say that. Yeah, I mean, I started in the sexual journey the same way, because I like needed to heal myself, and I needed to have that, and then that evolved into all of this. But let's talk about what is intimacy. And, in English, I love the play of the word in English, intimacy.
That's what I was going to say. Into me, I see.
Into me, I see. I see that word. And like in Spanish doesn't work. But I love the word in English. It does have that into me. What is it?
Into me, I see. Because people don't start with self. I mean, I didn't. I slept with a bunch of guys in college and throughout life to get them to like me and love me and be my partner. I didn't start with me. Yeah. And so, yes, it starts. I want to ask you first before I share. I would love to hear, how did you become more intimately connected with self?
Through my body, through the break of. So I come opposite to you. I come from a family that it's very united.
I know.
I'm
very envious. Adopt
but
me.
Also codependent, because it's just, I always say that and then we're going to jump eventually into the culture differences. But in Mexico, we don't have the word for boundaries. And so there's none of that, right? And so you live with people on your house every day on top of each other, and that is for the good. And also it's hard to discover yourself outside of that bubble. And so I went from that to like, I knew I was going to leave. I was supposed to just leave for 2 years, and I've been here almost 20. Right. And so I'm the only one in my whole family has left. And so then that creates a whole other aspect. And then I created friendships and all this stuff like that. But specifically, I think the break of really creating an intimacy to myself was the breakup of my relationship with my husband. And the first kind of death, I call it, the first kind of death that I was holding on to my feeding that intimate part on him. And I didn't know how much I was relying onto that relationship to have that. And then when the breakup of that it's like, what if I'm just alone? And what happens to that? And the of course the floor, feels like they ripped the, what do they call it in English? Pull the carpet,
out from under you.
And it just felt like, and then I'm like, I need to go back into myself in a way that is unshakable, in a way that is, no matter what happens in the world, no matter if people die, no matter if the world, whatever, I know I have myself. And that was a very intense discovery, and it led into the sexuality led me into that, because one of the first things that they teach is you cannot be fully sexual out if you don't understand your ways of intimacy, of sexuality, of pleasure, of guidance of your body, and so that led me into that aspect. And I feel like now, the relationship that I have now, I never thought I would ever have it, because I was just so codependent, and addiction made it even more so. To the point where I was just like, where, and there had to be that break between him and I in order for us to understand that we are two individuals, and then we connect, but we also look for intimacy in other places.
Yes.
And that is also okay, because at first I grew up with the idea that the person that you marry, that's the person that gives you the full intimacy, and you shall not look at anywhere else in the planet, and community is important to me. My friendships are as important to me as my partner. I have them in the same level. I don't have hierarchy of levels between him and my friends. And so, but it took me a while to understand that.
And I think it's beautiful what you're saying. It takes, we have to have that awareness, but there has to be something that happens. So it's like the break or the death, as you were saying, with that relationship or that moment in the relationship. It's, where else are you going to turn then? If he was the person that you turn to, well, where are you supposed to go? Well, you have to go to you. And I feel like for me, because I'm single for so long, I don't have emotional intimacy or safety with my family of origin. I don't, chat on the phone with my siblings. And, I have friendships, but I don't feel like we as a society are doing what we do, which is we don't talk on the phone, but we send voice memos, and it's the same.
It's for the win.
It's the same difference. We're in like a forever dialogue.
Yeah.
And it's so meaningful to me, and people don't do that. And so for me, it was like, well, where do I go? No one's going to fill me up. It had to be me.
Yeah.
And for me, it came through my spiritual practice. It came from connection with a higher power, which is not religious. It's higher level of consciousness, God, universe, whatever, made the trees and the mountains. That's how I was able to get connected with me.
You were saying how you get that through higher power, to a spiritual program, all of the things. And yet you and I have a lot of conversations of, especially coming from, and I love to hear this because coming from different cultures, what the experience is.
Yeah, like I envy the Latin culture. You're all with each other, community on top of each other. But then you just said also that there's no time for self or something. Or
it's hard because we depend on each. Like it has this beautiful. Like I didn't see this until I left. Right? It's like
correct.
You get perspective when you get out of your country, your city, your family. You get a little bit more perspective because you get an outside perspective. So for me, this is all I knew. Right? Although at 11, I went to Germany.
Right.
And I saw the extreme of the other side of that. And it made me appreciate my culture for the first time in my existence.
Can
because
I
at
ask
11, you don't.
Is the extreme when you were in Germany individualism?
Yes, and very strict. It's a very strict situation.
Not like a warm and
it's not
fuzzy.
warm. And that's a lot of like cultures that live a lot of, well, obviously it has a big history, but also the weather. I feel like weather also, that has something to do with weather too. It's like the colder
if you think
the weather.
About Russia, it's
Yes.
cold. It's
Yes.
cold people, cold weather.
I also loved
Don't
Russia,
wanna
by the way.
overgeneralize.
I lived in Russia for a month and I fucking loved them so much. They were so nice. The people, that is. But it was just such the first time at 11, you don't thinking about your culture. You don't think about anything outside of yourself. And then I went to Germany and everybody was like congratulating me on my birthday with a handshake. And I felt like I was about to die. I was like, nobody's touching me. What's happening? I didn't know how much I needed physical touch. I didn't know how much I had it until I didn't. And then here came 6 beautiful, amazing friends that they were way older than me, but they took me in because they knew how much I needed that. And they were from Spain and they were from Mexico, and they kind of took me in the boarding school. They were like, here, we'll hug you, we love you. They're like, and I got my physical touch through that. So that was my first experience of being like, but that was more of an appreciation of like, oh my God, wow, like, yes, no, I need this. I need the touch. I need when I left, when I was a teenager and like later on, I realized of like, oh, I can see both cultures, the United States culture, and I can see the Mexican culture, Latino culture, more from an outside perspective because I've been in and out of both of them. And so I can appreciate what they both offer. And I also can see the demise in both of them in that sense. So with my family, I'm like, I so appreciate that everybody lives within a block from one another. That means everybody's there for each other. That means having children. You're having children like we were supposed to have children in community.
In a village, in community. I
in
agree.
community. And so it's like somebody's like, hey, can somebody take care of and then it's 16 people in there. Somebody will say, yes, I'll pick up your kid. Yes, I'll take care of your child. Yes, I'll help you. Like it's very much a tribe, a vibe. And so you're always being helped, but you're also helping constantly, right? And so when I go there, I get immersed in the whole thing, and I'm like taking care of kids. Like everybody's like, one more person, yay, here you go. And that is beautiful. But at the same time, there's no like
what's the downtime look like for self-reflection?
It doesn't much. Although my mom, I was recently thinking about my mom, even though she is kind of like the head in a sense of the family because she puts together like all the trips and all the things, and she also will say, I'm going to be in my room and nobody talk to me. I'm going to turn my phone off. Bye. I'm going to give my phone to your dad. If anybody needs anything, your dad has it. Bye. And I thought about it the other day because I would tell her, I'm like, close the door, Mom. Because she's like, the kids didn't let me sleep. They open my door all the time. I'm like, lock the door. And she's like, oh, what?
Right.
How dare you asking me that? And I'm like, well, then don't sleep. But then I'd be like, oh no, she does take time for herself. It just looks very different to what other people would look like. But a lot of people are running on fumes together. And there's no boundary. But then I feel like I come here and people are so boundaried that there's not a lot of community. Like the boundaries, I learned what boundaries were here in the US. Like, and I appreciated the learning of what that meant. So I can say to my mom or my parents and my family, you're not allowed to talk about my body anymore. It's not, but it's called, I'm not coming in from a bad place and it's a cultural thing. I don't give a fuck. I do not give a flying fuck. You are not going to talk about my body this way. Period. Boundary put, and there's consequences if you don't. And meaning I'm not going to come here as often. That's kind of like the consequence. But it was for me to like dance out with like, oh, but I also don't want to be so boundaried up to the point where I don't have that like, let's help each other. Exactly. Nothing. So I'm always trying to balance and dance with both cultures and like what both can give me. And I go back and forth a lot. So I get to experience it back and forth a lot. And I have two different completely lives in experience of life in one space and in other,
It's really interesting what you're saying. It sounds so fulfilling. Like you do get to have the both and experience, but potentially would it be more, serene and harmonious and lovely if all spaces could be more in the middle, right? So I have like more of the coldness, like we don't talk about feelings. I go to visit my parents in Texas, and my siblings live there as well, and nobody texts me, can't wait to see you, we miss you. No one. And then when I arrive, no one makes time to spend time with me. It's bizarre to me. But at the same time, I don't want to spend time with them because I don't like them. Right. Because we don't have the foundation. So it's like, well, what do you want? So at the end of the day, when you say, oh, so we're all, everyone's helping each other, I'm thinking, oh God, I wouldn't want to be around my siblings that much. But you like your siblings and they're...
we like each other. I mean, we don't... we are very different from each other as well.
But it sounds like there must be some sort of mutual respect or something.
Yes. I mean, we have that ingrained in our brains that we are a tribe. That's kind of just like that's kind of what it's ingrained in my life. So even like I have an aunt that it's like so Catholic, almost a nun, right? And she wants to preach Catholicism to every single person in the planet. And she gives me all the holy waters and the this and the that and like to every single person and like it's praying for me. And then when I say that I remember when I said that I was trying yoga, she almost fainted. She's like, oh my God, no, it's from the devil and like all these things. and the thing is like, I have also learned because to talk to her being like, I would love, because she's so incredibly intelligent. I mean, the things that she has studied, she has had so many lives. And I was like, if you don't try to convince me to come to your side, I would love to have conversations with you.
Right. If there's not the demanding and the dogma and the pushing, but just curiosity. Let's just have conversation.
I'm like, what do you think that like this, what I'm doing is from the devil? You haven't even asked me what I'm doing. Like, right. And so I'm like, you want to know? Let's have a conversation. And so instead of being like, that would be a person that out in the world, I would be like, ugh, I don't want to talk to them. I don't have them to be in my space. Bye. Because she's in my family.
You're making that effort.
Exactly. I am conditioned to be like, well, she is your aunt forever till the end of fucking time. And so let me have a bridge of some sorts. And that could be good, but also in some places that it's not in my family in this moment, but in some places it also can be dangerous to some point.
The people have to want to be in dialogue with you though.
For sure.
So that to me, I can't. So if we bring it back to intimacy, which is what, communication, connection, care, concern, trust, reciprocity, as far as like emotional intimacy and not physical sexual, which is also intimacy, the other party has to want to engage. And what I continue to hit up against with my siblings, and again, this is no fault of theirs. They don't have the tools. We were raised in a particular family dynamic, cultural components, etc. Is there's criticism and judgment and invalidation and defense and passive aggression. And it's, even if I'm just saying something small, let alone sharing a feeling that immediately gets invalidated, and I'll get a text message like, geez, like I'm trying, geez. And it creates an immediate block. I don't want to be intimate, but it's not even that I don't want, I also can't, even if I wanted.
Yeah.
It is a person saying they are not available for that. They don't have the capacity, they don't have the tools. And so that's my whole big thing about intimacy is we all want it. I know my siblings long for more connection. It's an impossibility. But there's so many variables that keep us from getting there, whether it's our own insecurities and fear of vulnerability, fear of judgment, fear of rejection. It's
a world that, and it's crazy because it's a world that I feel like even more, it's getting more and more disconnected because
we're becoming more individual, more isolated. And
it's well, I think COVID started like a big wave of that, because we were like, okay, well, we are alone in our house with the people that we live on, and that's and
I live alone for a long time, so I'm like,
who
am I talking to?
And then we started like being like, okay, like Zooms and meetings in Zooms and kind of like doing that. And I have a lot of friends that are also on not on social media, on dating apps, that has shifted. A lot of the dating thing has shifted. I was telling a friend, I don't know how I would deal with the apps, because I at first probably would be like, menu of so many people, and then I just see that also as a problem. I was like, holy shit, it's a menu, but we're not seeing the human behind the menu.
But also for you, because you're like me, you have such a zest for life, I bet you'd be agitated that the men who, because that's who you'd want to date,
yes,
I assume, or the men wouldn't be making the effort that you're like, I don't understand, I'm here and I'm excited to let's meet in real life.
Yeah.
If they don't make the effort, I think you would, like most women, lose your mind.
Yes. And that's like the whole situation is like we stop seeing humans as humans with social media as well. It's like people are being mean, but they're not realizing it's like you wouldn't say that to somebody's face, right? You wouldn't walk on the street and say that to somebody's face, but people feel that they have the right to say that to a person's face because they're not seeing the humanness. So we're kind of losing a sense of like, we all are human, because now we all are seeing each other through a screen, through social media, and through all this aspects. And then we're getting intimacy, what we think is intimacy, in other ways that I feel like it's fake intimacy. Somebody just called it. I saw a video recently about ChatGPT.
Whenever you say, or whenever anyone says chat GPT, I say CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, because what's funny. The G? What does it stand for?
I don't know what anything means. I just use it. But somebody said that it's intellectual pornography. And I kind of love a little bit of that because what it gives you is like what porn gives you. It's like it's a turn on immediate, but you're not getting the connection that you think that you're getting.
Yes.
Right.
It's a quick hit.
It's a quick hit, and we're all about the quick hits, and it makes you feel good for a second. Right. And so if you're using chat, because a lot of people are using chat as a form of therapy, or they're using it as a therapist, and chat is very validating in many ways, right? It's like, I'm so sorry you're feeling this way and you're feeling that way. And like, of course, I understand. Anybody would feel like that.
But does it give people solutions, or it's just
I've never used it as
Enabling.
therapy because he's just my assistant, but he's not. I don't
What's
use
his
it
name?
as that. I just
Would you name your
it's just
assistant?
Chad. Hey Chad. I just although I call him Chad with a D.
I was gonna say, hey Chad.
Hey Chad. And he calls me beautiful. I don't know. He got it from somewhere because he's like, hello, beautiful. But then sometimes I'm like, oh my God. He's like, every time I'm like, hey, I need you to write, da, da, da. He, like, I wrote an email. Can you check on it? And he's like, that is a brilliant email, Virginia. You are amazing.
Oh, it's
you are gonna
the
be
ego.
just so talented. This is gonna take you to the next level, and that's what it's doing.
Okay.
So if you don't have anybody in your life, let's say a person who's like feels alone and lonely, and they don't have anybody in their life that is reassuring them, and then they, in your mind, you understand, oh, it's a fucking robot, but it has now a human voice, and now it's telling you these things that you want to fucking hear, and people feel like, oh, I'm having an intimate relationship with a machine, right? And so the same way that when they see porn, they're feeling like there's an intimacy when it's fake. And so it's like a fake, which is like intellectual porn, which means like your brain is going to do something. There has a hit of something when you feel lonely. The same with social media, the same with all these things,
And
right?
I get it. So do it, right? So do things that help you feel less lonely. Sure.
Yeah.
Who are we to say? However, for me,
Yes.
I have the mentality of commune, village. Like I
Yes.
want to go back in time because that is true intimacy, is physical. But I absolutely understand if you're, there's those, like, what was that movie where it was it Her?
Her, yes,
And,
with Joaquin Phoenix.
Great. Have a robot doll, and if that's how I personally want to bring us back to the fundamentals. I mean, I want to bring us, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm just so passionate about this real human connection, human to human. Take away technology, take away being, hustle culture and capitalism and productivity, and bring us back to the basics where we're in a community, and you'll be the, I'll be the town council, and you'll be the town, fill in the blank. What will you do for our commune?
I'll be the witch.
You'll be the town witch.
Without getting burnt in the stake. This is a world where witches are not bad. Witches are all the good.
And yes, I will be a witch with her, but she'll be the teaching of the witchery. I'll be the town council. There'll be somebody that's like the meal. We'll all be, doing gardening, and we share and we trade. And no, I also want, nice jewelry and some designer clothing occasionally. So I all jokes aside, I just want to bring it back to the basics. But listen, if you are feeling lonely, who are we, who am I to say it needs to be done a certain way? If somebody is getting a hit of, dopamine, feeling a sense of bonding or sense of
I mean, I understand that part. I understand that
but
part.
if it takes it too far, and then they're like not seeing a human ever again.
But that's the thing. I feel like that's the danger of it. I'm not saying don't do it, but I am saying there's a danger of it, because then you don't go out into the world and look for it.
I'm right there with you.
You know what I mean? It's like, if everybody's just going to be in their boxes, because one of the things that you do really well.
Me?
Yes, that you do very well is that you go,
Everywhere alone.
You go, I feel lonely. I want intimacy. So I'm going to reach out to you, and I'm going to ask you, this is what I need. Let's go have coffee. Let's go on a hike. Let's go do this because I need this. If you were only getting that from a robot and you live alone and you don't have a partner, you might never go out and look for me, for a friend, for a person to give it to you. So then a society that it's already has an issue of being individualistic, it becomes even more so individualistic by the way of like, we don't need each other.
And that's the thing, is at the end of the day, I know we do, and everyone knows they do, but they don't know how to go get it. And I do think that this idea that you're speaking of, it also has me thinking about people. So going back to the beginning, into me I see, they're not cultivating intimacy with self. It's kind of like I'm immediately, I feel a kind of way. I have the urge, then I do the habit, and then I get the reward. So the urge, whatever that may be, and the habit is smoke a cigarette. The habit is drink a beer. The habit is sex, and then you get the reward. So we have to replace the habit. The cue, the urge and the cue will change. I'm sorry, will remain the same, and the reward remains the same, but it's the habit or the addiction that we have to change. And so, yes, if people feel lonely and they immediately go to their phones, I mean, everyone's head is in this position. I'm like, look up, look at the fucking trees, look at then they're not going to be able to cultivate that intimacy with self. Like, this is what I talk about with my clients, is you sitting in the discomfort. You're not going to die from the loneliness. You're not going to die from the anxiety. So why don't we sit in it and see what comes up and strengthen your tolerance?
Yes,
because stress is all over the fucking place. We're never going to be in a world without it. So you do need to strengthen your stress tolerance.
Yes.
And so again,
and right now I feel like we have very little. I talk a lot about this a lot. I'm like, you have to sit in the uncomfortable. We have to have resistance to the uncomfortable.
There's so much you can learn about yourself.
So much. And the thing is, like, now, because we have it in our pockets, I get uncomfortable, I go into social media, and that gets me out of it. And so now it used to be like, oh, I have to now go to the bar, and like, that's going to cost me money, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not, you know what I mean? Or to the store to get the wine or the cigarettes or whatever. I had to like make an effort to go and do the thing. Now it's just in my pocket and I can access it at any point. And so we have lost kind of more of the resilience of that uncomfortableness. So, because we talked about the intimacy into me, I see. So it's first me. But how do we then cultivate intimacy with other people? How have you find yourself cultivating that? How, and then sometimes we get, we make connections with people. And one of the things that you have talked to me about as a friend, it's this world where you want this type of intimacy, and then some people are either incapable or don't know how. And how do you manage that, and what do you see in that world?
Is it okay that I just coughed?
Yes.
We just clear my throat?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Well, what was the first part of your question? Is how do I get intimacy with others?
With other people, and then what happens when there is people
Resistance.
that you might have connection, but then there's the resistance of it.
So again, another question I was hoping you were going to bring up, because I wanted to talk about my efforts in the past, like pre-spirituality, when I was a super duper codependent people pleaser, and that's an inauthentic version of me, and then the me now, and I might have been too much or a lot back in the day. Absolutely. Was chronically disappointed in people, had high standards, was, my expectation, and I was always disappointed, and because I needed other people to fill me up, because I didn't have intimacy with self first. And now it's dramatically different. All the work that I've done in therapy as a therapist and my spiritual program. And so now I have a radical acceptance that like my siblings, for example, I've known them 40 years. So it's safe to say that, never say never, but today I do not have it. I can't get in. And so I radically accept that they're not available to give it to me, but instead of, cutting someone out of my life, right, the all or nothing thinking, it's the radical acceptance and how do I adjust accordingly. So those are not people that I can get intimacy from or emotional safety from. So I let go and I go where the love is, so to speak. And so for me, that looks like someone like you would be a great example, is I can show up as my authentic self. I take risks by being a little bit vulnerable with you, sharing a little something. Like we were doing our writing exercise the other day, and I was telling you about what I had written, which was about coming from a family of wealth and feeling, even now I'm like, oh no, people are going to judge me. And feeling afraid that I would be judged for I just happened to be born to this person who worked really hard and made money. And you didn't, when you listened to me, when I read it back to you, you did not judge me. And it just felt so safe. It felt so, I appreciate you. I felt really safe, and you didn't judge me. I'm repeating myself. The point is that when you take these little risks of vulnerability and you receive comfort and care and validation, it's like, oh, I can try that again then. Maybe with this person, maybe with another person. And if somebody winds up smacking you down, invalidating you, criticizing, getting defensive, passive aggressive, then okay, I'll maybe try again another time with them, or maybe not. And you've never given me that aggression, that tone. It's always been safe. So again, it's like if I had to make a suggestion to people, it's, you do have to take little risks of vulnerability.
Right.
You do have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
The second part of your question of, I had a friendship here in Los Angeles for almost a decade, and I would tell this friend I love her, and she wouldn't say it back to me. And for the longest time, it felt really uncomfortable. And it's because I have my own like unlovability, but also it's normal to fucking say you love someone.
Oh my God, 100%.
It's so fucking normal, but I've been made to feel like it's not. And when I brought it up to her, long story short, I wound up getting, invalidated, rejected, abandoned, and told that the friendship was too much work. And that, so I'm thinking the friendship isn't too much work. Previous Melannie might have been a challenging person in her 20s to befriend because I had all these high expectations and codependency. But today, Melannie is just asking for the normal human condition of intimacy, and this person can't give it to me, and that's okay, but it doesn't mean I'm unlovable. It just means we're just unaligned.
It's an alignment. And I love that. And I'm going to say something that this is so important for me to say, because we have this perception that right now, like, marriages take work, friendships also take fucking work.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So when people are like, well, this friendship is taking work, I'm like, well, yeah.
It should.
Now, what type of work is different, right? It's the same with a romantic relationship. Like, what type of work is it requiring you to do? Is it requiring you to abandon yourself? Is it all those things? But when it's inner work, the friendships that I have had conflict with, that we work through the conflict, that we talked through the conflict, and we repair, they're the closest relationships that I have. And because I have very close relationships with certain people, because also I work with them, like, Marta and Valeria, that we see each other so much, and we've been in this whirlwind of a creation for 9 years. So there's been conflict, moments of conflict, but then there's always like a resolution that then makes us even deeper, like sisterhood, and it's not, people think it's because you guys, we do have a lot of fun together, but the reason why that we have that closeness is because we are able to sit in the, like, I don't like how you said this, like I don't like in this dynamic, like, and people don't think that friendships need that, and they do. And again, I don't necessarily have that with all my friends, meaning I don't necessarily can have conflict with friends to the point of that. I mean, with the sisters, it's very different because we have to work together. So it's like we have to work with each other's stuff. Usually with friends, you can take a break or a breather, right? It's like, I'll see you next month and we'll be okay, And with us, it's like, well, I'll have to see you tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the after day. So we better fucking work through this shit. And so it has made us kind of work through that stuff. And it made me realize, I'm like, no, also friendships take work because you grow. And you grow in different aspects and maybe in a different way, But then you can still feel the connection and intimacy with somebody. I feel it with Madison. She moved away and she has a completely different life. And yet I went and visited her last year, and I hadn't seen her in person in like a year and a half. And I see her and it's like I saw her yesterday. We like fall into this intimacy thing.
Well, I think, let me ask you, Virginia, is it because you and Madison have had consistency?
Yes, let's talk about that. Yes. And yes and no. We go through periods of time where, let's say, we don't speak in 6 months.
But that ebbing and flowing, I think, and maybe for you, consistency would look different. Someone like me with an anxious attachment style, leaning more towards securely attached now. I don't know what you would say your attachment style is, but for me, 6 months would be potentially inconsistent and abandoning unless there was that foundation of like, oh, I know Madison's, we got this.
Yes, and not with every friendship is like that, but with her, yes. I mean, we live together. You know, we've been in the worst. And the thing is, like, she's 5 days older than me. And interesting enough, we go through a lot of this stuff in life together. So like I would call it my Saturn return. Like when the shit hit the fan in my life, shit hit the fan in her life majorly. And so we both were
Twin
like
flames.
Yeah, we both were like going through this shit together. And so I would go to her apartment. She's like, "Fuck, I don't know what to," and I'm like, "Girl, I'm just gonna smoke a fucking cigarette and you're outside." I was just smoking a cigarette outside her window, and I was like, "You don't have to say anything. I'm just gonna sleep over here." And she's like, "That's fine." It's like we were there for each other in that way. And I know when shit hits the fan, it's like she's there and she will fly her ass down here, and like I will do the same thing because we have that basis. So now if we don't talk for 6 months or whatever, we check in, we do little videos. She's not a person who will I also understand who she is.
Exactly.
She won't, because that's not who she is, get on the phone. We do FaceTimes once in a while, but I'm not going to call her on a weekday because that's not who she is. And I'm not going to make her be like, well, this is how I get my intimacy, so you answer the phone. I'm like something like similar to what you say your sisters.
Emotional intelligence on your part is you not trying to make someone be something different. That's beautiful.
I'm like, I can still get my needs from her without talking to her every day. You know, and with a partner, with Adam, because I live with him, it's different because we have to all the time be talking about it because we live in the same space. But somebody that lives in the other side of the world is like, yeah, checking some important pictures, random like videos of like, do you remember the song? But other than that, when we see each other, it's like, we just go right back into it. And so because I have that knowledge and that security with her, then I'm like, it doesn't matter if I don't talk to her in 6 months. Like if I will see her again, then I will fall into back it again, you know. But it is, I wanted to ask you about something about your sister.
Yeah, I interrupted you.
Your sister. So you have that aspect of knowing like they're not going to give me this. And I'm not going to cut them out. And the black and white dance, right? It's just like, I'm just going to dance this through. Do you feel that sometimes it's more painful to stay in a space where a person doesn't give you what you need to connect?
I'm not in the space.
Okay.
So that I would first say I'm not in the space.
Okay.
I'm in a detaching with love, like they just exist.
Gotcha. Okay. But if you see them, right, and you still get the I don't know, rejection, I don't know what it is. It's like not people not asking how you are and whatever.
Does
it
anymore.
Get to you?
No,
in any way?
because I don't long for it anymore.
Okay.
I used to long for it.
Yes.
I used to have my middle sister and I would gab about our oldest sister and why doesn't she like us? Well, now it's like none of us like each other. I don't like the middle one. The middle one doesn't like the older one. I don't like the older. We don't like each other. And I have so much compassion for them because they were raised in the same family with the same variables. And I found a way out mentally. I found tools that have healed me. I found spirituality. I see myself completely different from them. And I have so much compassion because I see them sort of drowning in 2 feet of water. And it's like, just stand the fuck up.
Right.
Oh, but they're drowning. And so instead of me like stand the fuck up, agitated, I'm like, oh, bless them. Like, bless their heart. I don't have pity anymore. I don't have angst. I don't want anything.
And you don't
from
feel
them.
like, oh, I want them to
No.
or hope that they would change in some way and somehow. So
No.
yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, I always have hope, right? If we didn't have hope, we'd all kill ourselves.
For sure, for sure.
But I have no expectations. And
right.
it is such a beautiful thing. This has been at least 5 years, if not more, that I'm like, oh yeah, I don't think about them. They're like strangers, which that in and of itself sounds sad. But I try to and I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not that sad. Like, I'm just not sad. I radically accept they're just people. And so for you and your culture is so beautiful. But from my perspective or my experience, family isn't it thicker than whatever, the blood is thicker than water. But if your family is a bunch of assholes trying to make yourself fit and be a doormat, no.
Yeah.
So they're just people. We're all bozos on the bus. We're all just another, bozo on the bus.
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah, so I'm
figure this life
not
out.
trying to get my intimacy from them anymore. And I also don't feel that devastation.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's beautiful.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do we still have time?
Yes. Is that something that you wrote?
Yes.
That she covered.
Oh, I didn't mean to cover this. My sweat towel is so hot in here.
It's so hot in here.
But look at how gorgeous.
Hot in here.
Why is this face not sweating? What the fuck?
I am sweating.
No, you're not.
From
I'm
many
like
other places.
schwitzing. She's always so effortless. This fucking person is so fucking. And I'm like,
what's your question?
Okay. So, in the most recent episode with her husband, it's at 41 minutes.
Oh.
If anybody, see, I prepare. I respect her podcast. At 41 minutes, darling Virginia said, "What you do in bed, you do in life, and what you do in life, you do in bed." I want to understand more about that because I ain't been in bed with someone in a long time. So I'm like, well, what would it mean to someone who's been a bit celibate, who thinks and feels and knows I'm the healthiest version of myself mentally, emotional intelligence, mental maturity, not perfection, but progress. So if what I'm doing in bed, I'm doing in life, I ain't doing anything in bed except with myself. So what the fuck?
Right. So what I mean by that, it's in many, many aspects, but what I mean by that, it also entails with yourself. What I mean by that is that we tend to separate our sexuality and our sex life separate from our life. Like people are like, oh, well, I'm this and that and that. And like, oh, my sex life is like something private and like in the shadows and da. And it's like we carry our sexuality with ourselves. Wherever you go, there is your sexuality. Wherever you go, what is that? That saying is like, wherever you go, that's you. There's
Wherever
you.
you go, there you are.
There you are. Yes. Wherever you go, there you are. When you know people go like, I'll change countries and change things.
But
and
you're
that's
still going to bring.
You're going to bring your
you.
shit and your problems and your stuff. Well, the same way goes for sexuality, right? It's like no matter where you go, you are a sexual human being. Sex is not just the act of sex. Sexuality is not just the act of sex. Sexuality is the living movement, breathing of your body into the world. Sexuality is how do you connect through your senses and the tree and the movement and the body and the food and the conversations and the talking. And because how you connect on the outside usually means it's also how you connect to either yourself or to another person in that aspect. A lot of people that are very shut down and want to open themselves sexually, but they have a lot of, either sexual trauma or something that goes, the first way that I start with is outside, like in their life, and like their food, and like the clothes. I don't start just diving right into the penetration and the orgasm and because I need them to understand that they are sexual human beings outside of their trauma, outside of who they are and their sexuality. Outside of penetration.
Got it. Okay.
Outside of a partner, outside of, especially women, like my main goal is like, they come to me, it's like, my partner is I'm like, great, amazing. Yes, your relationship with your partner is suffering or this or that. And when I get couples, I separate them because I want women specifically to understand what is your sexuality outside of sex, outside of a partner, outside of the world that tells you sexy is this. I had one exercise that I had a client do where it's like, the exercise is look yourself in the mirror and seduce yourself. That's all it is.
Oh.
And then she came to me and she's like, Virginia, she was it's so funny. She's very shy. And so she came to me and she's like, I tried to do it. She's like, and the thing is, Virginia, I cannot just like do a striptease to myself. It's not who I am. I cannot like take my clothes off. And I said, notice that I did not specify what you should do. I just said seduce yourself. But then we have all this stuff that comes from culture, from movies, what sensuality is. I said, sometimes to me, the most sensual thing that I can do with myself is just look myself in the eye. what a
1,000%.
central fucking thing it is to do. And then what that means is that when I'm having an intimate moment with my husband,
to not have to look away.
It's just being with him. And that means that I can get to look my friends in the eyes. So it translates into all of it, because I'm a sexual being no matter where I am, no matter who I am with, and no matter what I'm doing. My sexuality and my sex life is my everyday life. And so it translates to all of it. It's not for just a person or an intimate situation.
I'm so glad I asked you. That was such an amazing response. You have me thinking about, okay, it's okay that I haven't had sex in a while. It doesn't mean that I'm like vacant in life. I have such a robust energy and connection to things. I'm so in love with so much and so passionate. So
turn on into everything. And tantrikas back in the day, they had to have 10 years of celibacy.
Yes.
And the reason why is because you have to understand sexuality as something more than sex, to understand what sexuality really is. If you just think sexuality is just this, that, the other, that they have taught you in school, then you're missing the whole spectrum of sexuality. And so celibacy is a beautiful way of being a sexual being, because it detaches you from what culture has taught you, and it puts you in a space of sensual, sexual space where you can just ravel and ravish. And like, one of the best lovers that I have, besides my husband, of course, yes, Adam, you are an amazing lover.
I was going to say, where are we going with this?
It's the ocean.
Oh.
I go in the waves and I let the waves penetrate me, and literally, and then I breathe about. You can laugh. I don't care. It is one of my best lovers. I have because it has a rhythm.
You're like a mermaid.
And I'm just and I breathe with it, and I do have orgasms from the ocean, and it's like amazing. It's like the ocean and I have like this beautiful sexual relationship that is like so fucking alive for me. And so I don't only get my orgasms and sexuality from just one thing. I breathe it in many aspects of my life, and I have lovers that are nature and winds and grass and and it's part of my sexual life.
I did feel, and I know we're not talking about penetration, it's like a metaphorical horniness, turn on, when I was so I have my own little backyard at my bungalow, as you know, and it's secluded. And I thought, well, I've never laid naked. And I did. And the sun on my body, I mean, I started to feel kind of horny. I was like, what is happening? And it felt like I was allowing myself to be a natural human that wasn't insecure, that like I was fully accepting my body and roles and delicious. And then the warmth of the sun. I don't know.
And then there's a technique where you literally you open your legs up to the literally you let the sun hit your vulva. And it's like such a beautiful, sensual experience as well. So, hell yes.
All right, it's summertime.
Yes, let's get.
Spreading my legs.
Let's get naked
sun in my vulva.
Let's see where you can find more love affairs in the world. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Thank you so much.
It means so much to me to be with you.
Talking about these subjects, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Where can they find you?
You can find me at, Instagram. I'm not that active, but it's The Extroverted Therapist, and then the website, theextrovertedtherapist.com.
There you go. Simple. Find Melannie, have conversations, look for her. She's an amazing therapist. So go, and if you need one in the state of California, is that right? In the state of California?
Yes.
then that's what it is. And if you feel compelled to share this episode with somebody that needs it, with somebody that speaks it, because that's how we keep growing, with you sharing these stories. And so if you are called to be like, oh, my friend will really enjoy this, do it right now. Don't stop. Don't hesitate. Send it. I appreciate all of you for being here, and I will see you next week in the Spanish episode. Thank you so much.
Love you. Thank you, babes.
Bye.